So we have completed, correct me if I'm wrong, we talked about RTM. I have given them one RTM, and then we talked about test environment. What is test environment? How do you set up test environment? Are there any confusion on test environment, or we know what is test environment? How to configure, how to set up test environment? Does it mean we understand, or does it mean we don't understand?
Understood.
Understood. Okay, cool. All right, so then moving on today. So we're going to keep it simple, just because of Ramadan, we're going to keep it simple. So these two we're going to talk about today, maybe these three. That's a lot, but we will talk about this. So executing system tests. How do you execute system tests? So we're going to start with this. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. I zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. Now, how do you execute system tests? So depending on your project, depending on the company you're working for, depending on what kind of tools they have in place. So you can execute your test in Jira tool, like we will do when we get into our project, or you can do it in Excel sheet. You can do it in any other tools. There are so many tools, right? There is a tool called ALM. ALM stands for Application Lifecycle Management. ALM, Application Lifecycle Management. So that tool can be used, but the most popular tool is the Jira and Jira X-Ray. So we're going to use those tools in our project, but I'm going to show you how it's done in Excel. Excel is where everybody knows how to do, and if you know how to do it in Excel, you can do it everywhere else as well. Same concept. So we'll execute our test today. So that we're going to go back to the demo Marketing Tour Guru 99 project. And this is what we design in terms of test design. And when it comes to test execution, after this, you need to add a couple of more columns. For example, let's see. So we have expected result. We need to create an actual result field. So this is our actual result field. And then what? Maybe we need status, right? After the schedule actual result, we need to write our status. Then we need to write created by field. Then probably the other thing we need to record is the date when it was tested. That's it. This is all you need for your test execution. So from here to here, test design, and from here to there, test execution, right? So now here, this is our scenario we're executing. We know the requirement already, and I'm not gonna open the requirement now. We already went through the requirement. We have done our test designing, and ideally I would just, write our test requirement here, linked our test requirement here, and that would be your RTM, and also having requirement next to your test cases is very, very good. But I didn't do it because I always try to simplify things for you guys, so you're not confused. I try to stay focused on the topic. So our topic was test design, and this was perfect. Only thing I'll change here, I would not put verify statement on the expected result. This one I would move here and put it under another step here. I would do, I don't, create test cases, guys, at all. So I'm not gonna, I was expert. I still consider myself an expert, but when you do it once in a blue moon, you don't always remember the best practices. So these are your complete test designing steps. Our expected result would be something like, user shall be able to. So after step 5, you're saying verify user is able to log in sign-in page. User is on the sign-in page. Okay, so you can just say here, user shall be on the sign-on page using Chrome. So you're saying after this step, so you travel from here to here to here to here to here. And after this, what are you expecting? You're expecting the user shall be on the sign-on page. This is just user journey, right? You're defining here user journey. Guys, can you hear me? Like, am I clear? You guys are very quiet, so I'm kind of afraid. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So do I make sense what I'm trying to explain here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is user journey. Every step you're taking as a user, you're recording it here. Step 1, open Chrome. Step 2, enter this URL. Step 3, hit the enter button. Step 4, click on the sign on button. Step 5, verify users on the sign on page using Chrome. Right, this is what we talked about. Now if we open this, right, if we open this, we can go here step by step. So what did we do? We opened Chrome, we did the version, it's the latest version. I don't need to look into it, but if you want to do it, you can go here, setting or about Chrome, and it's going to show you somewhere here about Chrome 111, something like that. What is this? 111, 110. All right, so this is updated already. So, but doesn't matter, right? Who cares? This is the latest version. All right, so next, enter the URL. I did. Then what is your next step? Hit on the enter button. I did hit on the enter button. Okay, so I landed here. And the next one is click on the sign on button. So sign on, where are you? Here. I clicked on the sign on. And why are you here? Okay, so I did, right? And then what are you saying? Your step 5, verify users on the sign on page using Chrome. So I did. I am verifying user is on the sign-in page. How do you verify it? You can see you are on the sign-in page. It says right here, user is on the sign-in page. So, and this is my expected result. User is on the sign-in page using Chrome, and it is matching. So, right. So now I need to record it here. So what we're doing right now is doing our test execution. This is how you test as a tester. An actual result. Now you need to write your actual result here. So you can simply say, actual result, user is on the sign-on page. That's your actual result. Done. How simple is that? Right? And what is your status? What should the status be? Pass, right? Your status. Done. Created by date. What is today? 04/02/2023. Yeah, that's it. What just happened? You have executed a test case. Literally, you have done a test execution. Okay. What do you guys think? Is it easy? We have executed a test case. You're a complete QNO. All right, let's do one more, and then we can try to ask questions. What is the next one? Verify user shall be able to navigate to the home page. Navigate to home page, then sign on page using Edge. So same thing, right? So next, it's going to be exact same. So I'm not even going to bother. Just a different browser. It's fine. Firefox, same thing. Fine. What is the next thing? Next one, verify when users on the sign-on page below text message must display. Okay, so open this, do this. Okay, so I think we need to, forgot. Like, so this has to come here, right? This is, so step 5. This was an error for us when we design our test cases. You guys have any question on this step? This was an error made by me, which I'm trying to fix now. Let me know if you don't understand this. The test design was not fully completed when I did this earlier. Step number 5, fine. So Firefox, this is done. Done. All right, so these 3 are done now. Let's verify this one. And what should be the expected result? Verify below text must display when using Chrome browser. Okay. Very similar thing, copy and paste. Below text shall display. You're talking about future shall display when using Chrome browser. So same thing here, same thing, okay. When using below user using Edge, I believe this one, Edge, right?
Yep.
Are we clear, guys? So far, please ask questions, participate, let's talk. We're learning together. I'm not the only one teaching, we're learning together.
Yeah, the only correction would be the third one. That's a negative case for Firefox.
All right, why do you say it's negative?
Third one, user shall not be able to sign on the page using Firefox.
Oh, yes, good catch. Perfect. User shall also, we were doing a negative scenario. So perfect. So we could log a bug here, right? I can clearly see a bug. What do you guys think? Like, so, all right, so let's look at this. Open Firefox. We're gonna do that. We're gonna open Firefox. Where is it? Firefox. We did open Firefox. Now enter this URL. Enter this URL, right? We already did that, but I'll just do it for. All right, then what? Click enter, I did. Hit enter, I did. Click on the sign on button. Sign on button. I did. Close. Then what is this? Verify user is not able to view sign on page using Firefox. So I don't want to see this. My requirement is this application is not supported by Firefox. So what just happened? Did we find a bug here, guys?
But this would be a fail, right?
Yeah, so we found a bug, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So what do we do? User shall not be. Okay, go ahead, guys, talk. I'm listening. Shall not be.
So if the actual result doesn't match the expected result, the status would be a fail,
Yeah.
and you'd have to report that.
See the sign in page in Firefox. Okay. So this is my expected result. User shall not be able to see the sign in page using Firefox, but I am as a user, I'm able to see the sign in page. So what do we do now? What is the first thing you think we should do?
Log the defect.
Anyone has any idea how to log a defect? What is the first step you need to do? When you find a defect, this is something pay attention to, because you as a tester, you are a QA, quality assurance, and your main responsibility is to find and log defects. And you need to be really good at it. When you find a defect, you see this is a defect. Your very first thing is to reproduce this defect at least 2-3 times to make sure it's a valid defect. So what happens sometimes you see something and you log it and it disappears. And there could be multiple reasons behind it. There could be like, environmental issue, the server could be down, there could be your network probably was down, there could be a glitch in the application. So you want to avoid those. When you're logging a defect, you want to make sure it's a functional defect. It's a defect that caused by the way developers have written their code. You are looking for those defects. So to avoid those glitches, you want to make sure that it is a valid defect. You want to reproduce it multiple times. For me, I would just go back to the home page. I would try to see if I can clear my cache. And I'm assuming all of you guys know how to clean cache from your browser. And the cache files are nothing but temporary file in your system. And you need to clean your cache when you go ahead and start testing, right? You want to make sure you have a fresh browser, or you can go to incognito mode. Like you can go to private mode from here, incognito window. So this does not carry the cache. This is always fresh for the most part. So you want to test this here as well to make sure that it is reproducible. Although this is Chrome, but I need to, you can find a private mode here, new private mode. So you go here, look for your defect homepage, go to homepage, you're in homepage, click on sign in page, and I'm on the sign in page. So that's mean I reproduce it multiple times. This is a valid bug. And now I'm going to log it. And your requirement was for Firefox, this should not be visible. So I'm going to probably look at setting if I can find it. Setting. And I'm not good with Firefox. All right, all I was trying to see version of the Firefox, but ignore it. So it says somewhere here about Firefox. Here you go. So
Screen capture.
screen capture. Just take a screenshot with this defect along with your browser details. So here you're saying, I am seeing sign on page here using Firefox. These are the information, right? So actually what I want to do, what I usually do, right, so you take a screenshot from here, take it, just copy it, take it to Paint. This is where, or snip and sketch, that also works. So you go here in Paint, paste it here. Now this allows you to draw and highlight things. You are saying sign on page is visible, and this is your browser details, right? And now even if you want to put something in terms of text to make it more obvious, you can just simply say user is able to see the sign-on page, you using Firefox. So you're saying I should not see this, but I am seeing this. So you're just logging this bug, right? So now I have my evidence. This is nothing but test evidence. And this should be very, very clear. So is this clear? Does it make sense? We have this, and we also have the sign-on page. So it's very, very clear, right? What is the issue? Where is the issue? So now we have our screenshot now, but this job is not done yet. We still need to write the defect in proper format. I'm going to show you a defect format. If you look at this, right, you need to write a defect summary. You need to write a defect description or reproducible steps. You need to write actual result. You need to write expected result. You need to define the priority of the defect. You need to assign it to the individual, and then you need to give the screenshots. So we can simply modify this, right? In terms of defect summary, in here, we need to say, in terms of defect summary, this should be very, very simple one-liner, but this should be able to tell the entire story. This one line should be able to tell the entire story of what happened and where it happened. When someone reads this, they should be very clean and they should have understanding of where that defect happened, what exactly is the defect. As a tester, it's very, very important you write a proper defect and clean defect, right? So let's define the summary here. So where did it happen, guys? Anyone remember? So we're going to say where it happened and what happened. So if we look at this Firefox, wherever. Okay. So what do you guys think? Where did defect occurred? Side by side. Look at it. Where and what? Come on, guys. This is very, very simple. Defect summary. Where did defect took place?
Home
Creators.
and
Sign on page.
sign on page. Yeah.
Right? And what is the defect?
The fact that you're able to view the sign on page on Firefox.
Yeah. Firefox. That's it. How simple is that and how clean is this one? By reading this, they should be able to understand what happened and where it happened. Now, this is your description. You're talking about your reproducible steps. So we can just simply copy these steps from here. So this is where the defect happened. These are your steps. That just happened. Okay, so step one, open the Firefox, enter this, hit this, click on this, verify user is not able to view sign on page. Actual result. What is your actual result? Actual result is nothing but this, your defect. Oh. Actual result is this. And what is your expected result? Expected result is this. You need to copy this. A lot of these are copy and paste. In terms of priority, like what do you think? So priority is like how critical this defect is. Is it very high? Is it medium? Is it low? Is it something we need to fix right now, or can it wait a couple of days, or can it wait a couple of months? So how big of a defect this one is? I would leave it high. That's
high.
yeah, leave it high. So we have like high, medium, low, and then there is one more status is a blocker. Blocker means something is completely broken, something is not accessible. A showstopper, meaning you are not able to log in or something like this. So we messed up one thing right here. We should have written our actual result first, right? So actual result is user is able to. So this is our actual result. And we should have failed this test case. So let's fail this one. Let's mark it as red so everybody can pay attention to this one. Right? So we failed that and we have logged this defect due to this failure. So this is fine. And now we need to attach our screenshot. This is our screenshot. This is a complete defect. Let's delete this one. This is a complete defect, guys. Just happened here. So this is a complete defect. Does it make sense? Any questions, confusion? Okay, let me show you in my actual application so it will make sense for you guys. So if I go here, If I go here, you're gonna see so many defects. So recently we have logged 25 defects since what, start of the year, meaning since January 1st. I mean, that's not true. It's not just 25. I'm saying this application to return me all the defects start of the year, but the statuses are not in accepted close. Okay, so let's make it simple. So I can show you how many defects we found. 176 defects since January 1st. That's a lot of defects. 176. Wow. Anyway, let's go back to the open defects. So these are the defects remain open. 25 defects still open. But that's not the point of the discussion. So let me open a defect and we can go look into it. Let me find a good one. Okay, very simple one. And then maybe a difficult one. Can open too. All right, so this is a very simple defect. So look at this, right? Let me open this side by side so we can compare. Remember I said your defect summary. So this is your defect summary, right? Defect summary, if you look at your work that we have done today, defect summary. Same thing here. I'm saying where it happened and what happened. I'm saying login functionality. Keyboard enter button does not allow user to log in, right? I'm saying this is where the issue happened and this is the issue. Clear, right? Very simple. Under description, this is our description. Under description, we write our reproducible steps. So under reproducible steps, I'm saying step 1, log into this application. I have provided this link. Step 2, enter username and password. This is actual work, guys. This is actual work from my project. Step 3, hit the enter button, similar to what we're doing here, right? And then actual result, I'm saying sign in button does not work when hit enter from the keyboard, not keyword, keyboard. Expected result, after entering valid username and password, user shall be able to log in by hitting enter from keyboard. So we're saying there is a defect. Look at this screenshot, and this is a screenshot. So we're saying when we go to the application, we enter username, we enter the password, then when we hit enter button, enter key on the keyboard, it doesn't work. But if we click on it, it works. You know how you have enter in your keyboard, it should work, it doesn't work. That's the defect. Guys, so this is exactly what we wrote, like the screenshot we have here. Same screenshot is here. Now, in terms of priority, if we look at this in terms of like, reporter, this is automatic fill because this is a tool that we're using, is user friendly. It's saying I logged it, it's an automatic fill. Now, in terms of priority, it's a major priority. So here we have high is same thing as major. Like here, our company, we have blocker, critical, major, and minor, but the standard is high, medium, low, and blocker. It depends. Like I said, in the industry, nothing is, not everybody follows the same thing. You can follow your own concept, your own rules, as long as it makes sense. So you have seen a real bug here, and this is what we have logged. Do you find similarities? Does it make sense? Does it help you?
Yeah, it does.
Definitely good to see it in live practice and also with the tool itself.
Cool. I'm glad it helped. Right. So this is same thing, another defect logged by Tamid, and he has given where this issue happened and what exactly happened. He has given reproducible steps, expected result, actual result. Not only that, instead of screenshot, he is very smart guy. He have done a video recording. And video recording, if is necessary, is good because he's dealing with like APIs and stuff. So he said, okay, I'm not gonna, a screenshot is not good enough. I'm gonna do a video recording, and he has done it, and which is excellent, right? So this is what you need to do. Fine, moving on. All right. So now we have, so far we have covered what? Okay. No, not this one. Where is it? Yeah. So we have executed system test. We have identified and logged a defect. Are we clear on this too before we move on to tracking defects? Any questions, guys?
No, I think it's clear.
Cool. Perfect. So let's go to,
So, excuse me, brother. So we log the defect on in the issue section of the Jira, right?
Yeah.
Issue tab.
Jira, park it for now. We're going to go to Jira. We're going to show you how to do it. You're going to do it yourself. You're going to learn Jira. You will have like a month dedicated to practice Jira. So don't worry about Jira for now. Let's understand the issue and how do you create those issues in terms of documentation, right? What are the things you document for that?
Okay.
In terms of using tool, you will get enough time. So great. Now we're going to go to tracking the defect. How do you track a defect? Before you track a defect, you need to understand defect lifecycle. There is a concept called defect lifecycle. Like us, everything has a lifecycle. You you get born, you leave, and then you die, and in between, whatever happens, it's part of the life cycle. So same thing here for a defect. When a defect is found, right, and when we log the defect, initially it is considered as new. Just like when we log this defect, it is nothing but new. And then the life cycle changes and it goes to open and then assign, fix, verified, and close. And there are different statuses here as well. For example, reopen, rejected, and deferred. So these are the life cycle of a defect. Oh man, what happened? So if you look at this life cycle, right, initially when you find a defect, for example, we found this defect here and we logged it just when we found it, and we put all this evidence and steps and everything. At that point, the status of defect would be new, right? We will just log it, and the status of the defect would be new. And then defects gets assigned to developers, right? We QA, we find the defect, we create the defect, and then it is a responsibility of the developers to fix that defect, and then we retest it and we close it. Or if it's not fixed, we reopen it. So we have done our part, like new, when we logged it, it's new. Then someone will open it, either developer manager or business analyst, someone will open it and see it, make sure it's a valid defect. Once they determine that it's a valid defect, they will assign it to a developer to fix it. So after new, it will change the status to open, and then after open, it will change, the status will change to assign once the assigning is done, right? Given it to a developer to fix it, and the status will change to assign. Now that developer, he will work on it, right? He will work on it, and once he fixes it, he's going to change the status to fixed, and he will assign it back to you, the person who logged it. So once that is fixed, you now go and start testing. Now, if you think he fixed it properly and it's good, happy path, you will mark it as verified, and eventually it will be closed. So you'll be saying is verified is good, and eventually it will be closed. Now in here, when he says he fixed it and you re-verify it and you see the issue still there, you will change the status to reopen. And once it's reopened, he will again has to work in it to fix it. And he will fix it and give it back to you. You will re-verify it. If at that point, if it's good, you're gonna mark it as verified, and then it will be closed. Now, another scenario, when a ticket open and assigned, two things could happen. It could get rejected or deferred. The scenario where it gets rejected, if you have a duplicate bug, let's say you log a bug, but someone else already logged that bug, they could reject it and say it's a duplicate bug. That's one scenario when a bug can be rejected. And another one, like sometimes we log a bug, we may think it's a bug, but they can give you an explanation and say it's not a valid bug, or it happened because there was a glitch or there was server down or something like that. Or sometimes we could simply have knowledge gap. We may think it's a bug, but in reality, it may not be bug. But you really need to be careful when they're rejecting a bug. A developer, their approach is always going to be rejecting a bug. That's their approach. A QA, our approach will be always finding bugs, and their approach is everything is good. We have written the code, we think everything is good, but you kind of have to be smart and evaluate properly what is right and what is wrong, right? So when they reject it, you need to have a close look into that, saying when they rejected it, does it make sense? Is it a duplicate bug? Then yes, just close it. It's rejected. It's duplicate. Someone else logged it. Let's just close it and keep one open. Now, another case, if they say, okay, we are rejecting it because it's not a valid bug. Now they need to give you proper explanation. And if it makes sense, you can close it. Deferred. Deferred means it's a valid bug, but it's a minor bug. We will not fix it currently. We will fix it in the future release. We will fix it in the future. Meaning we have a release now. We're gonna go with high priority issues, and the issue you logged, it is valid, but it's very minor. And we don't have time to fix it. We'll fix it later. That's the deferred mean. Everything else, guys, does it make sense, or you have some questions?
Brother Wayne said this is a duplicate bug. How in this flow chart it it stands, and how I am gonna know that that is a duplicate bug?
So here they will reject your bug, and they will put some comment here. Like here, if you look at, once you start learning how to use this Jira, so here you see, this is the status, is draft. Draft is nothing but new. So like I always say, every company uses their own wording, their own way of working. What I'm teaching you is the most standard ones in the industry, but every company could choose something else. So when we log the bug, initially we call it as new, but they could call it draft, which is fine, which they did here in my company. If you see on the right-hand side, they call it draft. And the next phase for me, we have written as open. They may call something else. Let me see the workflow here. Okay. Yeah, ignore it. This is the most complicated workflow my company follows, but don't worry about this. And I'm not even going to present this to you. This will confuse you, but this is the workflow. When we work in our IT solutions project, maybe in a month from now, we will create a simple workflow so you can understand. So your question was very good, right? If you find a duplicate bug, what they will do, they will reject it, and they'll give you a reason saying, hey, they'll comment here saying, hey, this bug you logged is duplicate, and they will give you evidence of the other bug. Let's say this is a bug 3260 right here. It's a bug ticket number 3260. So when they say, like, you logged this one, but earlier someone logged 2130, right, ticket number, they will link that ticket. They will mention this ticket here saying, hey, go ahead and look at this ticket. It's duplicate of that one. So you will have enough details here to accept or reject it. Does it make sense, brother?
Yes, brother. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So,
Besides,
sorry.
yeah, besides these two reasons, like duplicate, and you gave me, you said the other one was that they explained that this is not actually a bug. You also mentioned a third reason. I didn't get to note that. Can you repeat that, or?
So we said duplicate, and we said not a valid bug, right? And third one, we said deferred, right?
Okay.
So two reasons a bug will get rejected. Either it's not a valid bug or it's duplicate. And deferred is not same thing as rejected. Deferred is mean we are just temporarily not fixing it. We're going to fix it eventually. Okay, so before you track this,
Brother, can you give one example of this is not a bug scenario? How it is not a bug scenario?
it could be anything, right? For example, you're saying we just logged a bug saying Firefox, right? You know, it's we are able to log into Firefox using, so we are able to log into the application using Firefox, right? So let's say this is not a very good example, but we can give you an example, right? So we are able to log into application using Firefox. If your requirement was user shall be able to log into application using Firefox. And let's say you try to log in and you could not log in. And at that time, maybe your internet, your local internet, this right here, was not working. But you as a tester, you didn't look at it. You just thought, okay, I tried to. So here it says demo. Can I delete one line? I'm not able to log in. This is a bug, right? This is a bug. Like you were thinking that this URL is valid, but you know the reality is you messed up. You did not put a valid URL, and you log this bug, and it will happen. You can just log this bug, and you will assign it to developer. He will validate. He'll say, hey, yeah, this is not a valid bug. You just messed up. You just did not put proper URL here. Does it make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you so much. Yeah.
Same thing. There could be so many things like your internet is not working and you probably new guy, you probably don't understand. You just log a bug. As you mature, this kind of situation will not happen as frequently. As a new QA, I think you know it is expected. It could happen.
So another example of this would be like, for example, the steps that you did to reproduce the bug, like for example, clearing the cache or opening a private window. So if a person didn't do that, for example, and the bug kept on reproducing on their end,
Yeah.
So that would count as an invalid bug, right?
Exactly. The cache issue is very significant. A lot of people don't understand. They just go and test without having a fresh session, and this just does not work. A lot of web-based application, this is a huge concern. So as a tester, when you start testing something, just make sure you have a fresh session so you are not you know, logging a bug which is not valid.
Gotcha.
So this is good. I'm gonna have to stop recording. This session is getting longer and longer, but let me just, before it stops, I want to go back for a second to here. So we're talking about tracking bugs. Do we understand what that means? Tracking bug is nothing but understanding where the bug is in terms of bug lifecycle. So new, once you log it, is new, you log it, that's it, your job is pretty much done. Then you need to see where it's going from open to assign to fix. Once it's fixed, this is when you come back and start retesting. And then you make decision, was it verified or closed, or what should we reopen it? Things like this. So this is your bug lifecycle, and this is how you track the bug. I hope this is clear.
Qadir.
Yes, sir.
Now, with the I mean, with the Jira tool, that's all within one system, that all these things are logged in different places in the modules and things. But if, let's say, a company is using Excel, like you were sharing with the test cases and the so in that, would they also create the defect log the same way in Excel, or would it be the document file, Word doc, like you have there for the summary of the defect?
Totally depends. But I think it's going to be Excel sheet. What they would do, they would probably create another columns here saying like, you know, fix or not fix, something like this. And they will probably, if it's fixed, they will update. So this Excel sheet would be internally shared, and everybody should have access to it. So they'll make changes like, here you says fail. You can write another column here, defect status, and you can monitor the status here. For example, this status defect status would be new, right? Because we have logged it. And if the developer fixes it, they will come back here and change the status to fixed. And when you see it, you are going to go and test it. And they'll notify you. They'll send you a message like how we do in the Teams. They'll notify you and say, okay, we fixed it, go ahead and test it. Usually it's the communication. We have to have a strong communication. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.